You know where you are? You're in the Guns and Radio podcast, baby. You're gonna die.
It's the Guns Radio podcast, coming to you on them crazy internet that Al Gore invented. As always, I'm Dustin Bonez.
And I'm Chris Caputo. Welcome to episode number 22 of the Guns and Radio podcast. This week's a pretty special one because we're going to be joined by a very special guest. We got Jeff from GNR Central here with us. What's up, Jeff?
Hell
hey
yeah.
guys, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. We got a lot of cool shit to talk about today.
I can't wait. Let's dig in.
Hell yeah! But first, we're gonna hear from somebody that wants to sell you, and we'll be right back in 30 seconds. All right. Welcome back. Before we get started, Chris, we need to address Spotify and how they're not playing all of our commercials.
Yes, that we do have to address.
Because if you listen on Spotify, there's some weird pauses in the show that we figured out. It ain't us. That's all we're gonna say. It ain't us doing it. Our shit's where it's supposed to be. I think if you listen anywhere else, you'll hear the ads. Spotify, which I shouldn't be telling people this, because now everybody's going to go to Spotify for a reduced ad experience.
It's only by like one. Like I listened to an Attitude a little while ago, and like there was a weird like gap in between one part. There was like, oh, they're missing an ad. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, but
shit, there goes my quarter.
You know how much we made? I'm ready to reveal our number so far. As of today.
Oh shit! Okay, let's hear this.
As of today, when I checked it, our podcast officially has made $9.99. We are a penny away from being able to, they won't even cash us out till we're at least 10. We're a penny away from being able to do
Did they take a cut when you cashed out too?
Oh, of course, I'm sure they do. I haven't cashed out yet. I don't know.
Oh, we're that close.
I know, man. We're so close. So, Jeff, welcome aboard. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Jeff here is from GNR Central. Tell everybody, basically, you used to do the podcasts and things, right? Or do they still do those? I haven't seen them up in a little while.
Yeah, we're on a little bit. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Right on. Yeah, we're on a little bit of a hiatus at the moment, indefinitely. We've kind of done our rounds. We obviously haven't hit the big players, any of the original five, but, you know, we've got Roberta Friedman, we've got Teddy Andreadis. So, I mean, we've got some hitters in the band and some of their side projects, but my co-host and creator and owner and the whole thing, pretty much he does all the website and the Facebooking and his Twitter account. Personally, I'm just along for the ride. I mean, I love the kid, but I'm just there for the podcast. But he's been so nice to bring me under his wing and let me be a co-host pretty much since I would say his fourth or fifth or sixth episode. I've been pretty much a constant co-host since. And, you know, we did the trip 2 or 3 in 16. In 16, we did the Staples Center show for Guns. And, you know, I got his back. You know, it's just, you know, I'm there for the podcast. And, you know, we've been friends pretty much since his sixth one, I would say. And we did maybe a total of 80, 85 or something like that. We've kind of been on hiatus for a reason. Like, the band hasn't really done much. They haven't released anything. Their management hasn't exactly been what I would call great to their fans. So
let me ask you this, though. Have you guys had any problems, like how everybody else that does anything Guns N' Roses related on YouTube lately is getting flagged and...
You mean with all the copyright strikes and everything?
Yeah, all that bullshit going on. Like, has any of that affected you guys?
We've fallen victim. Yes, to say the least. These quote-unquote super fans who kind of want to pretend they work for the band have come after us, yes.
What did they get you guys? What could they get you guys with, though?
Anything. If there was a 5-second clip of Axl and West Arkeen playing Yesterdays in that basement of CBGB's or wherever they were from, like, the early 90s, when MTV did a clip of them while we were waiting for the Illusions albums, if that was on there, it got struck. If you had just a snippet of music that was more than 5 seconds long, it got hit. Maybe any image that wasn't like free press, anything. I mean,
damn,
down to the nitty gritty, bare bones. Like, if they, even if it wasn't, but it was in the gray area, it got a strike.
How do you combat that, though?
And again, this is Sid's baby, and I'm just along for the ride. He had to jump through hoops, you know? Like, he had to first move all his content onto another channel, which is now Rock and Roll True Stories, which is what he's been focusing mostly on, because there's been more of a reception on that, which, you know, more power to him, and all due respect, he's got to feed his family. I get it.
Yeah, I mean...
He had to move all the videos over to another channel, and then he had to dispute all of copyright claims. And it was getting closer and closer to the deadline where it was like, we're going to take your channel down. And he did a lot of research in one day and got this like direct connection online instant messenger to somebody at YouTube. Like, it's his baby now. He won't tell anybody the address. Like, so he immediately can go to this particular person he's been dealing with, from my understanding, or person in this division or whatever, from here on out. And
break.
Yeah, like, his hard work paid off because, like I said, the deadline was coming. And he talked to this person, and the person reviewed it for him on the spot, I think. And yeah, granted him his what do you call that? Refute. He refuted it and won on all of them. I think all of them, but maybe one. And I think one was on his Rock and Roll True Story page. I think. Don't quote me on that. But long story short, these trolls and these quote unquote super fans, they're just doing it to make people's lives hard. I mean, why? You just don't get it. You know,
but they're fucking assholes.
That's right.
He said it, not me. But I mean, there's people who aren't even really diehard GNR fans that this is coming to light to. Just recently, I was on the Twitter the other day, and there's this maybe within the last month, and this guy had tweeted like, "Oh my gosh, I just uploaded my GNR show from a month ago, and I got a copyright strike." And then I tweeted at him and I was like, dude, you're like behind the curve. And then behind, you know, private messages we've since gone on. And I was like, you know,
got some bad news.
Dude, you're a little late to the party, but here, let me let you know what's been going on. But, you know, it's like now they're going after even super fans who are like, I'm not going to name any names, but if you do your research, you can find it on the forums and stuff. But there's a super fan that got a strike. I mean, Megan, Flash's girlfriend, on her Instagram got a strike. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
Like, and her replies like, "I'm in with the band," and so that in turn got Team Brazil's attention to the max because she's a super fan, and or he. I should say. And this particular person like woke Beta up, and it was she releases a statement on the lines of like, we don't know who's doing it, but we do know it's not a supposed fan or something like that, or some fan that pretends to be a part of us. And so that just like completely contradicted her entire statement. We don't know who it is, but we do know.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
So, and then did you guys remember when Guns N' Roses actually tweeted to their fans to send them their bootleg.
Yeah, we
That was
talked
the
about
funniest
that
fucking
on
thing
here.
I saw. Not gonna lie.
Holy shit.
I was like, fucking, I retweeted it. All I wrote was fucking clown shit.
Get your shit together.
Like, are they seriously getting lazy now that they're like the type of people who like call people who have warrants and are like, hey, if you come to the police station, we got $5,000 cash for you. You want an award?
Holy shit.
How dumb does Team Brazil think that their fan base are now?
Oh man, what
Like,
what could they be
honestly,
doing?
you know what? Fernando, and he's the sweetest guy to me, but I seriously, when they tweeted that, you guys deserve fucking clown shoes. Like, fuck you guys. I'm sorry.
And
Like I
that's
said,
the
I
thing,
met
though.
Fernando, and he's a fucking sweetest guy, and he stopped and he talked to me, and you can see on my Twitter page, on my avatar, that it's a picture of me and Sid and Fernando, but I'm sorry, that tweet was the worst one that ever, other than the 4th of July. The 4th of July, when they're like, they totally missed the point. No, it was Veterans. Was it 4th of July or Veterans? It was 4th of July, I think. And they,
or Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, that's it. My bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the one. Yeah.
They tweeted a barbecue instead of our fallen soldiers and remembrance, and like the point and the fucking goddamn poster was like 2 different fields. Like, Team Brazil, man, like, God love them. And come on, man.
Get your shit together.
Get it all in a bag. Take it to the shit store. I don't care what you do with it. Get it together.
Yeah. In your own custom GNR laundry bag for $39.99.
Yep.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, they are having a sale now, though. No, wait, that's past.
I did get my email about that. I appreciate the after holiday sale.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Hey, speaking of after holiday sales, what was your guys' opinion when the box set went down $400 like 2 Christmases ago after Christmas?
Our recurring third man here, Dan from another from the Famicom podcast there. He has the GNR box set thing, and he did get it for like half price, which was a hell of a steal. Better than getting a bunch of temporary tattoos and 5 rings for $1,000.
Yeah, fuck that. I
Yeah,
do want
right?
the rings. I want the rings and I want the box. That's all I care about.
It's cool. It's not worth $1,000.
I know. I don't want. Yeah, I'm not paying $300 for a goddamn box because that's literally all I want it for is the box.
Is that how much I think they're going for it now? $300-400?
Yeah, I think they're about. Yeah, I think they were about $399. I think the whole thing pissed a lot of people off. I think a lot of people got pissed off by that.
Well, I mean,
pissed
let's
me
remember. Well, yeah, it pissed me off too. But let's remember, dude. Like, Guns N' Roses' target market has changed since like the late '80s and early '90s. Like, I remember my tickets were never more than $25 or $30 back then. Now, which was then extremely affordable.
Yeah, I mean,
now tickets.
I would pay $150 for VIP tickets back in the day. Now $150 gets you in the goddamn nosebleed section. I'm not paying for that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just. I mean, but look, man, you got to give it to them, man. It is their comeback tour. You know,
Well, I
maybe
appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate what it is.
I don't think they're on the less full on professionally, nor like with the amount of their material to be on the Rolling Stones / Paul McCartney level ticket prices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think they should have made it a little more affordable just to see what the reaction would have been. Because A, there's no Steven, and B, there's no Izzy.
Yeah.
And
Now that
and like
would have been worth the fucking price, but I don't think Steven could do it.
physically, I don't either. Like, he's going out and he's playing hour and a half sets now, and like walking off the stage holding his back.
Yeah, I don't think he could do 3 hours a night.
No way. But the original plan was to have maybe Matt, maybe Steven, and Frank. And they all, well, Matt plays the illusion, Steven plays the appetite. And
that would be cool. Like have three drummers, like 3 drum sets set up across the back, and then just spotlight whoever's playing at the time. That would be dope.
Yeah, I agree. That's not, or they could just use the same kit and something could like spin in and out like a kaleidoscope.
Oh, that would be cool. Like it spins around and then there's a different one.
Too.
Yeah, that would be dope.
And trust me, for how much they're spending on this tour, they could easily do it.
Oh yeah.
But no, going back to the drummers, man. Like I live in Cincinnati. I was extremely lucky on July 6th to be in the pit for when Steven rejoined the band for the first time in 27 years, man.
That's pretty dope. That's
fucking
pretty awesome, man.
Holy shit.
I'll tell you what happened, man. Like, I have a buddy, and he and I have been really close friends in regards to music. He even dragged me to a Motley Crue show, 2 of them, actually. And I was like, fuck Motley Crue, man, Guns N' Roses forever. And he's like, man, I got tickets, man. Come on, let's just go. And he took me to the Alice Cooper farewell show. That was worth it.
That was awesome.
I caught Alice Cooper's hot female guitar player's pick. God,
dude,
she's hot.
I know,
Anita
right?
Strauss.
But so's Steven's bass player. So my buddy, he's like, calls me the day of the show, and since he always has the tickets, he's like, man, my wife got a call from a friend from a local rock radio station, and they got us tickets, man, but blah, 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 I'll make sure I get you in. And I was like, dude, you burst my bubble, man. Now I'm not even going to fucking go. And then like 2 hours before the show, I'm like, what the fuck am I thinking? Of course I'm going to the fucking show. Like, so I meet him at a bar down there, and he, like, I meant to tell you, he owns a ticket brokering company. So he's like, dude, since I screwed you over, here's a fucking pit ticket for $50. Nice. He took it out of his personal inventory from his company, because he owns one of the ticket brokering companies. Like, you go online, you pay 3 times face value for any ticket. And like, just to make it up for me, he's like, dude, here's a pit ticket, dude. I know we've been talking about this for almost 2 decades to go to this show, but you know, I don't want to sleep on the couch for a month. So here's $50. Give me $50 and here's a pit ticket. And I was like, dude, the rest of your beers before the show are on me.
That's pretty dope.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I was in the pit. I arrived at the show with him and left with the show with him, but I was in the pit by myself. In meantime, he was in the bar. There's a bar in the middle of the floor of the stadium, and since he's like at the show for free for his friend made him like the beer bitch and made him go get beers all night, so he didn't really get to see the show. And I like keep giving him shit every day, like, you should have just gone to the show with me, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm usually in the pit. I turn around and there'd be one of those guys with like those racks of beer that is like 16 by 16 that you hold around your waist, like at the ball game.
Yeah.
And every time I turn around, he'd be there. So I just cash him some cash and get a beer. But midway through the set, man, like, he wasn't around, and I was getting thirsty. So I was going to run up to the grandstands and get a beer. And, I'm like, this is Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, which is essentially right on the fucking river that separates northern Kentucky and Cincinnati. And actually, the Red Stadium and the Bengal Stadium face the Licking River, which is like 2 rivers in North America that actually flows south to north. But so I'm going up the side of the grandstand, and Axel's like, ladies and gentlemen, Steven Adler. And I'm like, fuck. And I turned around, man, and I was blowing by people, like, coming up the fucking ramp and going down the fucking ramp, like weaving in flip-flops, like, through the aisles, like re-flashed my wristbands to get to the floor, and then, like, re-flashed them to get down to into the pit, because the guy's like, you just left. I'm like, fuck you, shut up, and I just kept running, and I, like, almost tripped out of my flip-flops, dude, and I was back in my position, like, Axel side within 3 minutes, man. And
isn't it weird how you become you find this superhuman agility that you never knew you had when you're bobbing and weaving around people at a concert.
But I made it back for the beginning of My Michelle, and it was amazing. And then I went to the Nashville show the night after, and he showed up again. But my tickets weren't as good. I was way out past the 50-yard line on the side, Titan side of the field. But it was great, man. That was the closest anybody had seen in a reunion in 27 years.
All right, so I'll tell you guys what. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick break, come back. Let's check out River. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Nice.
That's good. Let's do it.
You know something? I almost had to pause the song because I was like, oh, shit, did I accidentally play some Brooks and Dunn or something?
Well, I expected it more out of him than I did with Duff, and Duff's most recent solo album. So wait till you guys start covering those tunes.
So far, it's pretty catchy.
It's not bad.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, for the last couple of weeks, we've had Izzy songs on this show that hadn't been all that good, per se. But so far, this one's not too bad. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Shit, that was quick.
I'm bullshitting. So let's dissect what we've heard so far just a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think he's talking about how life's just a constant flow, you know? You know, the water's going to get to the ocean, it's going to come back through the rivers, and then it's going to come back to the sea, you know? It's just going to continue a cycle of life. And I think it's like talking about life and what he's seeing through a lens while he lives it, you know?
Good.
Okay, so I think that probably just kind of sums up what Jeff was saying a moment ago about it's about the tides of life. That's the best explanation, man.
Let's remember, Izzy just wants to live life, man. You know, he's not all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll anymore. He just wants to write the verse, chorus out song. You know, the 4/4 rock and roll, like the stuff that, you know, the Stonesy stuff, like, and that's the stuff I love about him, and that's the stuff that I love that he brought to the band. Like he wrote a lot of I'm a bass player. He wrote a lot of the bassy songs, other than It's So Easy. He's just like, man, he's just, I miss him in the band. I can't express it. Like, I really feel like he was the heart and soul of the band. He brought the like yin to the yang. He brought the balance, you know, like Steven and Slash and Duff were out there partying so hard, and he was in his own pocket partying himself, but he was bringing like anchor to adjust, you know, to get to an even plane. You know, he brought the blues. Slash brought the blues, but he brought the blues, you know what I mean? And the rock. He brought that Keith Richard like thing to the band that hasn't been mimicked since. And Richard, God bless him, like he's tried really hard, and he's a fantastic guitar player. But nine out of 10 people would rather see Izzy up there, you know? And it's just because we love him and we miss him. It's not because we hate Richard. It's just because we love and miss him. That's because 9 out of 10, you know, that's because 9 out of 10 would prefer it because we just miss and love him. And he's still recluse. You know, you think Axl was recluse before Chinese Democracy came out. Look at Izzy fucking Stradlin.
It's been seen since, like, what, 2012?
I think 2012 is when I met him.
You met Izzy?
Yeah, I met him in 2012. That's actually a funny story. I think I've told it on here before, but you said ask me about it after the show, and I'll tell you the story. It's a pretty funny one. But I agree with that, and the problem though is, I mean, like Slash when he got out on his own, he kind of could stand out on his own, and I don't know if it's just Izzy releases too much shit that it can't all be winners, and maybe we've just, you know, had a run of bad luck with the Izzy songs that come up in our lottery. But most of them are shit. And, I mean, but the same can be said for Slash. He put out a whole album of shit with that first Snake Pit record.
Put a couple? Well, yeah, but I think his most recent album that he did with Miles, his most recent, the one with, like, The Love You Lost, or The One You Loved Got Away and all that, I think it's just the best one to date because, A, Miles isn't singing like somebody stepping on his balls, and he has more of a vocal range on this album. Slash's other albums have been good, but this was my favorite Miles Kennedy album thus far. But, yeah, I mean, that's why Axl wouldn't touch that Snake Pit album. That was supposed to be Guns' follow-up to Illusions, if you don't count the Spaghetti Incident.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be the follow-up.
I don't blame you. You don't follow Illusions with that shit.
Yeah, it was
Ain't Life Grand was good, though. Like, that album, I would have loved to have heard Axl do some vocals on shit like Been There Lately and Landslide.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. But I gotta say, so far, this is definitely, of just the songs we've sampled by Izzy so far on the show alone, this is my favorite so far.
Yeah, this is pretty good, especially, I think, like, the good solo stuff. Like, I loved that only album with the Juju Hounds. Like, that was some really good material there. Well, but this is, like, just solo-wise, is pretty good, I would say. Yeah. It's probably the best one so far.
Which we'll get into all that eventually.
My favorite Izzy song is Baby Ran. It's 4/4 straight to the floor rock and roll. Like, boom, 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 boom. It's a great song. I like it. It's great. And the lyrics are it's very bluesy rock, but fast bluesy rock. It's one of my favorite. Let's not forget who played bass on this song, man. It was the mighty Duff McKagan. So this was let's maybe, you know, Duff has always said he wanted to do that, you know, John Thunder solo, like, country blues album, and we got it last summer, or the beginning of last summer, and, you know, he can play it because you see the bass line on this song. So, I mean, Duff's a very, word I want to use here, he has a huge kaleidoscope range of what he can play.
He's very diverse.
And exactly. And gotta love him for it. And he's my favorite gunner. I've yet to meet him. Came close to Nashville on the solo tour last summer in early June, but didn't happen. I did meet Mick Bob, though. That was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. He's big. That's the thing about Duff is fucking huge.
He's
tall as a mountain. He stands out in the crowd, I bet.
I'm getting a little bit of a Margaritaville vibe from that section right there.
A hint.
It's got that sitting in flip flops on the beach influence to it.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
If
I'm
I
not
want,
saying
there's time. You know how it is. 'Cause, man, when springtime happens and the snow starts to melt, that's all you want to do is have your flip flops on. So this is kind of like one of those songs where like the season changes and you just want to put it on and be like, man, the sun's out and it's warm.
Yeah.
It might not be the most life song in the middle of February, but
Yeah, I can see that. I can see playing this at like a beach party or some shit.
Or maybe at the end of an Olsen Twins movie.
Dude, I haven't thought about that in fucking years.
That's an interesting observation.
Yeah, that is an interesting observation. I forgot. Are they still alive?
Thoughts in my head. I'm like, oh.
It has that little pop hook in it right there. It just has that little pop hook in there. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And when it does, then it will be. You can just see the Olsen twins giving you one of those thumbs up stares, and then freeze frame and the movie's over.
Hang on. I feel
That's
like we've got
all,
some
folks.
instrumental coming up. Let's play it. Let's think about that. That kick-ass guitar solo, that's all I can think about now. Fucking Olsen twins. It's definitely a happy feeling song.
Oh, for sure.
Good observation, though. I can see. I can. Fucking Olsen twins, man.
It's got to be very 80s, though.
Oh yeah, like late 80s, early 90s, any little kids show, like you could.
Before they lost their innocence.
Yeah, so Full House Olsen twins.
Exactly.
That makes sense though, because of Bob Saget.
Produced by Disney. They'd have to be produced by Disney, and they would have to follow every child labor law. One of those.
I know, man. That's why kids shows aren't near as good today as they were when we were kids, man. Back in our day, we didn't have all those fucking pesky child labor laws and all that bullshit to have to deal with.
Yeah, but we did learn from them, man. Look what happened to Screech. So, you have to put those laws into fucking effect.
That's true, man. Screech is fucked beyond belief now.
Yeah, that's true, but there's also another way of looking at it, and that's like fuck Screech. I'd rather watch good TV. I mean,
bullshit, man. Bullshit, because I know sometimes when it's 3:30 in the afternoon, you got that late afternoon off, and you're on TBS and Saved by the Bell's on. I know you stop for a second. I know you do, because I do.
Oh yeah,
I think everybody does.
Milk, crackers, and peanut butter. I want to take it back. I just got off of school.
Well, guys, you ready to spin the wheel and find out what we're going to do next week?
Let's get our ratings in beforehand.
I forgot. Hey, I've been doing good, though, about not forgetting that till today.
That's true.
Who wants to go first? Jeff, you want to go first? We go up to 5 out of 5. What do you give it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd give it a solid 2.5. Just because, just after I said that Olsen twins thing, I can't get it out of my head. Like an A for effort. You get an A for effort, but then the Olsen thing just balances it out to like this.
Fuck.
You know, Duff's on there too, man. Duff's on there too, which gives you a solid edge. But like that Olsen thing, it's just like that poppy hook right there is where it just pulls me, pulls down the radio.
Yeah,
that's where I'm gonna.
I feel like had it come out in '93, that you could excuse that look. This came out in 2001. That era was dead. Like, I mean, the body hadn't got cold yet, but it was dead.
Slowly dying.
Caputo, what do you give it?
A solid 2 3/4 out of 5. I'll give you that.
I'm about in the same realm too, 2.5. Between 2 and 2.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I mean, this came out the same year as Chop Suey. Think about that.
Yeah, so you can kind of see where music was already. So this was kind of out of date. Like this, 2001. So
yeah, shit was getting heavy.
Yeah, no wonder a lot of people didn't buy it.
I mean, this is just before Weezer broke up for a minute while their singer went to Harvard. So this is, I mean, even he saw it coming. He was like, I'm going to go to school.
Go get my plan B together while I got this money. That's right, which is brilliant. It's a brilliant thing to do.
Yep. I mean, Duff pretty much went back to school around then, too.
Oh, yeah. See, I forgot about that, but yeah, he did.
So.
If I going to school, though, if I was famous, I'd sell insurance or something like that. Like, what an edge you would have in that kind of industry, you know? Look at Shaquille O'Neal. He sells the General. Like, he's got a sponsorship. If he owned a store that sold car insurance with that General, what do you call it? Gimmick that he's got now.
Yeah.
Make some bank.
That's why like a lot of pro athletes like open up used car sales places. You know what I mean? Like it's just the name you're buying.
Oh yeah. And then you could say you bought it from Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah, that adds value to it. That's prestige, man.
Yeah.
You can look down on your insurance card and it says Shaq Inc. on it.
Yeah. Has his signature on it.
Yeah.
You turn it around, he's got his little face going. You know.
That's brilliant, man.
I just made you another couple million bucks back.
If Duff McKagan did something like that, fuck, I'd buy Duff insurance. I'd at least buy it for a month just to get the card.
Dude, this is man. Duff owns so much Starbucks stock that before it split and became a national household product name, like he could easily just live off of the Starbucks shares that he has for the rest of his life. Duff does not need another adventure. And but you know, the man that he is and the balls and the heart that he has, like he would do it. He would do something like that. You know what I mean? He started that foundation to make sure like other artists get their money correctly. You know, I think he's just now the poster child for it. He like started it and handed it over to people. But like A to Z, like I don't think Duff's a bad guy, man. I don't. And like
he's always seemed like a great dude. Let's spin the wheel so we can kind of see what we're going to do next week. Before we do, let me tell you right now, you can head over to gunsandradio.com where we're going to have another episode of GN Extra, our show. After the show, we're going to continue hanging out with Jeff from GNR Central. We're going to talk about GNR Central. We're going to talk about all kinds of great, cool things in the post show. We hope you'll check that out. Let's spin the wheel. Come on, something good.
Messages by Velvet Revolver.
Okay, I can roll with that.
What was your guys' take on VR?
I don't hate them, but I mean, I wouldn't put Velvet Revolver in my top 10 of my favorite bands.
But I think personally it was just a breath of fresh air to see them play again. So I think that's why the first album was bankable, but the second one, it kind of faded.
Yeah.
And talking to and interviewing multiple sources in the past, like they've even said that, and that's why they didn't touch the project on the second album. But you know, I saw them U.S. Bank Arena, which is now Heritage Bank. It was where the Who ride happened in '77.
Oh, okay.
But I saw them here in Cincinnati, and like what they did is they took it, like imagine the venue as a hockey rink, and like what they did at like one end of the goal is they just like put the stage at the center ice line. So they used the back end of the arena to create like a theater setting. You know what I mean? So 3/4 of the arena wasn't used, but they made it look like a theater setting. Okay. And I was in the pit, for that, and it was a great show.
What would you rank it compared to some of the GNR shows you've seen?
Oh, way at the bottom. Way at the bottom. Wow. All the GNR shows that I've seen, or GNR related, I saw Guns '87 with Aerosmith in Cincinnati. I saw them. Let's see here. I saw Steven's last performance. So seeing his first and last, I saw the Indianapolis Farm Aid show. I saw the 2 Dayton shows in '91. The second one where Axl sliced his hand on his microphone stand.
Oh, that sucks.
And then he played with the Chinese Democracy. I saw one of the two of the New York shows. The not the Ritz, but the ones that he came out with, Hammerstein. And yeah, thank you. Saw 2 of those shows, and then I didn't see him on the Chinese Democracy leg again when they came to Cincy. I skipped it. I was like, man. And then I saw 5 of the Not in a Lifetime, 5 or 6 of Not in a Lifetime shows, including Steven's show in Cincinnati and the New York show for the 30th anniversary.
Man, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty dope. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up this the main version of our podcast, but we're going to continue this conversation with Jeff over on GN Extra. So head over to gunsradio.com and check that out. Jeff, thank you for joining us on the main show, and we'll see you here in just a minute on the extra show. Caputo, you ready to go home?
Let's send him home. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week on the Guns and Radio podcast. Peace.
Later, guys.